Hello again. This is the last video lesson for section 3.5, and on this video we're going to be writing some equations of vertical and horizontal lines. So I want to remind you that a vertical line is the equation x equals a number. So it doesn't have a y and it only has a constant term. And then a horizontal line is the equation y equals a number, and notice it does not have an x, so it just goes through the y-axis at whatever number you're given. That is actually your y-intercept, and then on the x it goes through the x-axis, and so the number you're given is your x-intercept. So really it's just a matter of recognizing and understanding what this means. If I write a vertical line through -1, 3, then it's going to be x equals -1 because that's the x coordinate that I was given. The horizontal line is going to be y equals 3 because it also has to go through that ordered pair -1, 3. So it's pretty simple to write these equations, but you just have to understand what it's talking about when it tells you, hey, write this equation of a vertical or horizontal line through a given point. And then here's one more. Finding an equation. It's a horizontal line through 0, 5/7. So that's y equals, and whatever your y coordinate is, that's what goes there. Okay, finding an equation of a line perpendicular to y equals 5. Well, if you look at this on a graph, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, y equals 5 is a horizontal line. And I want my line to be perpendicular. So that means I'm going to have a vertical line that goes through the point 1, 2. So I'm going to just say x equals 1. Now let's look at this on the graph. X equals 1 would be right here. And you can see that it is perpendicular to y equals 5. So sometimes actually using the graph and looking at this can be helpful. Okay, this one says parallel to y equals -4. So if it's parallel, that means it's going to look just like that line, but it won't be right on the line. So y equals -4 is right here. And we want the new line to be parallel, so it's going to be y equals -3. So it would be just above that line that you had just graphed. Right, so that would be my y equals -3, and those are definitely parallel lines. And then this is just kind of a synopsis of everything here. Remember when I was talking about standard form, I thought we had to make the A positive, and that is the case in some books. But I realized in this book that A can be negative or positive. So that could be negative AX plus BY equals C. And just know, as far as I'm concerned, you can write that either way, and you can write it either way on my math lab. So remember that if I had this, that is the same equation as x minus 2y equals -3, because if we just multiply through by a -1 and every term in the equation, that's how we end up. So those are equivalent. And then of course you see slope-intercept, point-slope, horizontal and vertical lines, and then also some information about parallel and perpendicular. So these are all things that you need to know whenever you take your test on Chapter 3. So that's the end of section 3.5.